Welcome back to Let's Finally Watch It, where we finally watch the movies that one or both of us have never seen, despite the fact that we are very much in the minority about.
Yes.
I'm Lauren Blair Donovan.
And I'm Clark and Blair.
And my therapy dog is climbing all over her Uncle Clarky right now, who's one of her favorite people. She's like, I don't want to be your therapy pet right now. I want to hang out with my friends who came over to see me. They are not here to see you or do a podcast. So if you are watching this visually, boy, is this interesting. And if you're just listening to it, go to our YouTube or TikTok and you can see a cute dog.
Well, I think she thinks that you're just facilitating these hangouts for her.
Oh, yeah. My whole life, which is actually not that false, revolves around my dog.
Right.
And it's just all about her learning, about the world and getting friends. And I help set up play dates that she doesn't know is happening until I say Uncle Clarky or Uncle Russell or Aunt Lacey is here. And she geeks out like a maniac.
Yeah, she gets real wild.
She really does. But
Yes.
today we are going to be watching She's All That, which I have seen, which is a little more rare.
Mm-hmm.
I only saw it 5 years ago, so I did not watch it as a teenager.
Oh, okay.
But you have not seen.
I've never seen it. This is one of those movies where I was a teenager at the time. I think.
So naturally you would rebel against wanting to see it.
So I was like, oh, don't tell me how to feel, Hollywood.
Don't tell me about the high school experience.
Right, exactly. Instead, I was, I wanted to watch movies about, dark comedies about families, like Royal Tenenbaums or whatever at this time.
Totally. Same. Hence, we would be friends at every stage of the game.
Right.
We've had similar trajectories.
Exactly.
We only met like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
What do you think She's All That is about? Let's go there.
Wait, no. This is the one I know more about it from I think just watching MTV at the time.
Right.
Especially like the promotions. I know it's Rachael Leigh Cook.
Yes.
She was like a huge crush. I had a huge crush on
beautiful.
her. And,
really pretty girl.
And I think I was mostly like I know it's Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes, I had to think about that, but yes.
So anyways, like I always felt like this was the movie. Okay, I could be wrong.
Okay,
it's the movie where the girl finally takes off her glasses and she's hot, and
because that's science. That's the science of makeovers. It's Yeah.
Okay. So
yes, you're correct. That's this movie. That is this movie.
Yeah, but that's literally all I know about it, and I know that that's like a motif that's been in other movies, because I feel like there's other rom-coms that like take from Shakespeare or whatever.
Right.
Like 10 Things I Hate About You.
Right. Which Taming of the Shrew, right?
Yes, exactly. And so I feel like there is something that's from like literature that is.
I don't. From this movie, I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
You might not be. I am a non-fiction nerd. I'm not into literature.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. I think by the time middle school, I was like, I don't like fiction anymore. So I am the worst person to ask because it's just not my wheelhouse. But I think what you're speaking to, though, is a lot of these makeovers that they do in movies, whether it's directly a ripoff of this or not, is sorry, my dog's having a staring contest for Uncle Clarky. Basically, another example would be The Princess Diaries with Anne Hathaway. They just gave her. We'll have to add it because I'm not.
I heard it's good.
I don't dislike it. I just don't care about it. I think that's but it is in culture, so it should be on our
Julie
list.
Andrews is in it.
Yeah, she's in it. Some other people are in it too that are pretty cool. But like Anne Hathaway is also an objectively beautiful woman, whether she's your type or not out there in listener land, because I feel like you can say any hot celebrity and someone's going to be like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. You don't have to want to bang her, but like she's objectively an attractive, symmetrical looking woman. And all they did was give her glasses and frizzed out her hair.
Right.
And same thing with like Sandra Bullock and Miss Congeniality. They just made her not have any style or wear any makeup, and then they put some gel in her hair and a little bit of makeup, and she's suddenly we're supposed to pretend she wasn't hot as a plain Jane, because she was. Like, that's the most blatant. This and Rachael Leigh Cook and She's All That, like the makeovers. It's like you can still see their impeccable bone structure. This is not.
And I almost prefer the other way.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no, because it's like, seriously, you'll be in this movie. Rachael Leigh Cook is beautiful with glasses and a ponytail and overalls. Like, it's not that deep, guys. Like, she's a beautiful woman no matter what you do to her. So yes, this is the quintessential makeover movie, because I think it is the most parodied, and I think it is probably the most iconic, just because of like how they rev it up and how it's supposed to. It's a whole plot point. It's not just like something that's facilitating other plot points. I feel like, if I'm remembering it correctly, it basically is the plot.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's whereas like with Princess Diaries, she found that she's a princess, but she also has to be a pretty princess. So it's like just facilitated. But no. This whole thing revolves around her looks. Okay. That's pretty much. I mean, there's other plot. I'm not going to give it away. There's more to it. There's more meat on that bones. But no, that's how we get to the plot. Is she has to become hot, even though she's objectively hot before.
Yes, and you know, but I also think like maybe it's like different. Because I'm imagining he's like a jock and she's like, I don't know, like a nerd. And like there's probably things like that, those usual tropes. I think it'll be interesting watching it, like too, because this is, you know, an interesting era. Like, so, I mean, we're going to like, I know we're going to get a lot of wild styles.
Yep. As somebody who saw it as an adult, relatively recently, I liked it more than I thought I would. There are, I don't remember why though. So this is going to be, because this is not a movie I've seen a million times. Like when Harry Met Sally, I've seen a million times.
Oh, okay.
I've only seen this once and maybe some change, like some scenes here and there, but I think I've really only seen it once all the way through. And so I don't remember it, so it's going to be a fun rewatch for me. But I remember being like, oh, maybe I thought Rachael Leigh Cook's character was pretty developed. And I'm like, oh, this is not as dippy as I thought it would be. Even though the premise is stupid, there's still some depth somewhere. Yeah. And it feels like they are, without giving anything away, I do remember them sort of kind of dissing popular culture at some moments.
Oh, okay. Maybe
not in a way that like you and I would diss mainstream culture, but there was like some self-awareness or something kind of meta. We'll see when we rewatch it. We'll come back to that, because I'm not sure what I'm talking about. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to spoil it. But I remember thinking this is actually enjoyable.
Yeah.
To watch.
Right.
Not necessarily favorite movie status, but it wasn't like, oh, this is terrible, turn it off. Because I could have. I was just watching it on a streamer by myself 5 years ago or whatever it was, 4 years ago. So. And
I mean, it's like kind of all over the place. Especially, I mean, at the time, if I'm not mistaken, Kiss Me comes from.
Oh, yeah.
And people think that I don't like that song, but I genuinely love that song.
Oh, I hate that song.
Really?
Yep, I hate that band. I hate that song.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not a fan.
Wow. Because, I actually do like their cover of There She Goes by The Laws.
It's okay, but I don't like the original either.
Oh, okay.
It's just not my genre.
Yeah, but that's like kind of all I knew. And I think like, so that's probably where I know most of the like images or whatever is probably from the music video for Kiss Me.
It's pretty MTV based too, meaning I don't know. I don't think it's an MTV film, but there's a lot of MTV references and possibly even some plot points without giving anything away.
Sure.
So it's very much of that era. It's gonna be fun, especially it's retro at this point. So it's gonna be it's gonna be fun. Like I'm excited to talk about this one just because it's, like I said, I think there's some substance here and there, but it's also super ridiculous. So we're gonna have a lot of fun discussing the things when I rewatch it and remember it better, and you watch it for the first time. Like we're gonna have fun.
And I know that there's probably gonna be some really genuinely funny moments. I mean, just like when we watched When Harry Met Sally, like a lot of those jokes really held up. Like absolutely. I thought, okay, cool. Like that's a really funny trope that I've seen since then, because like everybody's parodied it, you know, and I imagine that I imagine that everybody. Sorry, I'm playing with the doggy.
She's like trying to make out with Clark, basically, just playing a staring contest right in his face.
Yeah, and I think, I'm excited to see where that kind of like, where those jokes, I love seeing like jokes being universal and and kind of, oh, okay, never thought about that. So I'm very excited.
Will be fun. I think it's probably all we have to say on this one. So we're gonna finally watch it. Stay tuned. We're gonna go away for literally like just a few seconds, and then we'll come back magically in the future having seen this. So bye. And we are back. I have rewatched She's All That. Boy, has my opinion changed. You've seen She's All That.
I've finally seen it.
I owe you an apology. I think I thought that it was... Okay, here's the thing. I've been holding on to this for like a week now. Mm-hmm. The reason why I think I liked She's All That in the beginning, it's actually tragically hilarious. It's because I realized I watched it for the first time in its entirety 4 years ago. In the summer of 2018, I watched a bunch of movies like this from the 90s and early 2000s I had never seen. The reason why is because I needed some brain candy because my brain could not focus on much else because my mom had just died.
Okay.
So I think the joke is, and the truth, there's truth and jest, is that my life was so bad, this movie seemed amazing by comparison.
Right.
Not like amazing, but it seemed good. Like it was like, because it was like, oh, this is not making me think about my dead mom. This is just this was enjoyable. This was frothy. This was I didn't realize the movie really sucked. Like, I did not like this movie at all upon a rewatch. Now that I'm used to being an orphan and all, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this movie sucks.
If you don't have that. I didn't like it. I didn't. It's a fun time capsule.
Yeah, which is what you thought it would be, I think. Yeah.
In the preview review, I was like, this is going to be a fun time capsule. This was around the time that I graduated. I graduated a little bit later, but it was an interesting, and it really hit home how I was, during when this did come out.
Right.
I was... there was a reason why I didn't watch this one, and I hate to say that I'm starting to get a little bit right about like the movies that
that's how I feel too about Avatar and sometimes you just know yourself. Sometimes you don't have to be open-minded. Sometimes you're just correct, Let's not gaslight ourselves into thinking that we should like things that we inherently do not.
Yeah, and I stuck it through, especially because I will say the people in it. I like the performances. I don't hate any of the performances at all. I think
cast
everybody
is pretty great.
Yeah, I thought everybody was charismatic, and the bad guys were bad guys, the good guys were good guys.
Yeah.
And, guys and gals, and that whole thing. So I feel like if I would have watched it back then, I would have disliked it even more, which is saying something. So
right, because you can appreciate the time capsule-ness of it, and I think as an adult, I always watch anything teen media, movies, television, whatever, with a very different lens. Because like when you're younger too, you see those people as your enemies. It's like because it's your peer group. It's like, oh, I would never be friends with that person. They suck. It's us versus them. You're more primal when you're young in that way. But now whenever I watch anything that's a teen something or another, I'm like, oh, they're all such babies.
I know.
They're all misguided. They're all coming into themselves. Even the bullies are probably wounded and they might end up being okay by 30. Like it's just like a different
I mean, like as we talked about before, I really didn't start getting into, or I stopped getting into teen movies when I became a teen.
Right.
So this is that sweet spot where I was not watching those.
Yeah.
And you know what? I probably wouldn't watch anything like that necessarily now. I mean, sometimes I watch like Riverdale or whatever.
Okay. I've never seen those.
Things like that.
One Tree Hill is like
great. stuff like that.
Teen drama I should not be into because I'm not a cheerleader or a basketball player, but I love that show.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's about.
I will not push that. Yeah. There's something I'm like, yeah, you should watch it. Nah, I don't think you'd like see a lot in it that you like, but actually one of the characters likes The Cure a lot. They have a pretty good soundtrack, to be honest.
Yeah, sometimes shows like that.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing compared to Gilmore Girls. I think they have the best soundtrack, to be honest.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, I don't think that at all. It's so funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do.
I hate the voice, the woman that's always singing throughout the show.
Oh, I mean, sure, that, but like the actual, like the stuff that Lorelai and
the stuff that Lorelai likes is great. You're right. You're right. I was thinking more in terms of soundtrack. Just literally that there's this woman that sings in every other episode, and she brought it to Bunhead's Amy Sherman Palladino too. And I'm like, I don't like this.
I've only seen the first
Lilith Fair stuff. Yeah, and Sonic Youth does come on in the 6th season. Like they literally guest star on the show, and that's my favorite.
That's what I heard.
So, you're right. They have some good references, and yeah.
But anyways, she's all that. I mean, it also had some songs on there for me where I was like, oh my god, I forgot about that song. Because this movie, holy smokes, it is basically an MTV.
Right.
I mean, it is like is it an MTV movie? Like, I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
I think it might be like, you know what?
It is?
No, it just won MTV Awards, which makes sense. But
because it's a promotion for MTV, so it's like, for your consideration, MTV, make us win awards.
Right.
We'll just plug The Real World. We'll plug,
it was Miramax, so it was like
a Harvey Weinstein. It said that in the beginning. We were with your roommate too. We all cringed. We were like,
I can't imagine that, especially
Harvey
like
Weinstein
a movie like this.
Production.
I know.
But he did everything, especially in the late 90s and early 2000s. That was like his golden era.
But this, I guess so. But I always think of him as like Tarantino or whatever. And
but he did
everything. Like that. But I guess he did do everything. Yeah. But of course, I wouldn't have watched this, so I wouldn't have known that he did.
I didn't realize that stands out to me way differently post 2017ish.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then also getting into the movie too. It's a bit sexist.
Yeah, but that time period was too. No, like that's the thing.
Right.
It's like
it was a real bad time. It was a real dark age for me. I had such a bad. I mean, as we were talking about, like our high school. In high school, like I was fine. I was just in a lot of clubs or whatever, but I didn't like anything that was going on. All of my favorite bands had broken up by this point. All of the worst people were getting played constantly on the radio.
The late 90s were a dark period in music. What's so interesting is you recognize a lot of the songs. I didn't. I thought I would, like, I know Kiss Me, we've already talked about that, but like, I really did not, like, you and your roommate were both like, oh yeah, that song, and I'm like,
I only remember
any of this.
So none of the songs that we recognized were like popular songs though.
Okay.
These were all songs that I used to listen to a show called or listen to a station called Y107 in Los Angeles. It was the alternative to K-Rock, which is the big.
We had a Y100 in Philly that was alternative. I wonder if it was the same company, just different markets.
Yeah. So I was listening to a lot of like alternative, and there were some alternative hits in it.
So was I, but for some reason I think sometimes different radio. My mom and dad used to say this, where he would like look at my mom like she was crazy and be like, "This band, it was the biggest band in X, Y, and Z year. Like, how do you not remember it?" And she grew up in Chicago. My dad grew up where I grew up in the Philadelphia area, and they had to eventually come to the conclusion that like different radio stations regionally favored different bands, and like I've lived in a lot of places and I've known people from other places, and they're occasionally like, this band was so huge. I'm like, what? Like, and I was pretty savvy. I knew a lot, but I think before the age of the internet, especially, you were really subjected to MTV and radio stations and whatever you could seek out on your own. So I think some of these songs were just more West Coast.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely say, like, even with, like, K-Rock probably played some of these songs, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I think there was, like, a court case where they had to, like, play, like, some, like, indie artists. This is before K-Rock got really bad, though. Like, K-Rock now only plays, like, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Papa Roach, and just...
that's what they play?
It's basically a classic rock station at this point.
Like classic late 90s rock.
Yeah, but only, that's all
Woodstock 99 rock. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And, you know, a lot of... I thought for the time period that this came out, it didn't lean on that, like, super hard, though.
They could have really done boy bands extraordinaire. They could have done a lot of different things because a lot was happening in the 90s. The thing that they leaned into most culturally was the real world stuff.
Oh, well, yeah.
That was a phenomenon in the 90s.
That was a huge plot point, yeah.
It's funny, though, the writers, I think, got a little lazy with it because it's so funny because there actually was a season 2 Los Angeles, which is where Matthew Lillard's character was from. But by the time 1999 hit, that season was like 5-6 plus years old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's that. And then it's like, he's going to go do the Road Rules All-Star. And I'm like, no. It would have been Real World Road Rules All-Stars. No one went from Real World to doing a Road Rules.
Yeah, that was...
They got a little... They were 40-year-olds thinking they understood youth culture, but I've said this before, but I'm a challenge-obsessed fan. I even have my own TikTok where I talk about the challenge all the time. So I'm a real nerd for this stuff. So I was like, there's a few things that don't make sense. But Matthew Lillard, though, can we talk about him for a second? Is there a more 90s actor than Matthew Lillard? Maybe Ethan Embry. That's like the only other one I can think of.
Ethan Embry. Yeah.
You're both like people that I think are wonderful. I'm not knocking them. It probably sounds like I am, but there's just like the female equivalent would have been like Jennifer Love Hewitt or something. There's just some looks and energies that if they get discovered in their time are perfect. But like if Matthew Lillard was coming up now, or Ethan Embry, or even maybe Jennifer Love Hewitt, that look is not there anymore.
No,
it's
not.
a 90s essence. You know, I don't know if they would be hired for the same stuff. Exactly. It's not even like just the aesthetic, it's like a vibe, it's an essence. And to have him play like a D-bag, like D-list famous dude. Yeah. And getting his 15 minutes, like it was a great performance.
Yeah, he was great. And again, I think everybody had a great... I mean, so, like, we'll get into it, but, like, we start off with a breakup.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, Zach, I believe, he gets broken up with by somebody who starts dating Matthew Lillard.
Because they met on, like, spring break or something. Yeah,
which, I mean, like...
That was what MTV spring breaks look like.
Oh no, it's
that was time capsule-y to me.
Yeah, it still happens. I mean,
I'm sure, but I don't even know if MTV does spring break anymore.
Oh, I don't know. I think it might be.
It's all ridiculousness, like all day, every day.
Yeah, I know. I haven't watched it in a while. Well, there used to be MTV2 at this time, and MTV2 was great because it went back to just playing
24 hours.
But now it's just. Okay, well, we'll play
reality shows.
Another reality, but like, so Freddie Prinze Jr., I think we were talking about it the other day, he's very likable.
So likable. He can save, because like the role of Zach is ridiculous. Like, we'll go back to how much we're in the Freddie Prinze Jr. fan club in a minute. Yes. But like, let's talk about why it's impressive that we like him so much despite this trash movie. Because, like, that Zach character, that's not a real character.
Oh, no.
That's not a real person. The jock who's wealthy, whose biggest problem in life is he got into all the Ivies and has to rebel against his dad that wants Dartmouth, but he wants to go to Yale or whatever his choice was. But he's also a nice guy.
Right.
That's not a real high schooler. You can have two of those things, and all of them in the future when they're 25, you cannot have them all at once.
Right. And that's interesting that you say that, because I feel there wasn't much of a change in him. It was mostly like he was already just kind of.
He was just a nice enough guy that was dating a woman that was not as nice.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then he met a nice girl that he misjudged at first. But that was the only, you're right, that's the only change. He realized that Rachael Leigh Cook was not ugly, or Jamie, whatever her name was. That was his only change. He wasn't like a mean, he wasn't, what's his name, Paul Walker's character, and then turned into the nice guy.
Yeah.
Which in a way I think shows restraint of the writers. It was all about finding hidden gems.
Right.
Oh, she misjudged him because he's a jock, and he misjudged her because she has glasses, which is ridiculous. But yeah, it's a good point. I agree.
But so there's like two ways to look at it. He didn't like. I mean, we'll get through it, but he doesn't change that much. He really doesn't.
No.
He's always kind
pretty
of
one
nice.
though. Like yeah.
And that's fine. I also think if they would have gone the other way and made him a douchebag and then he changed, I think I would have probably tuned it out
a lot
earlier.
faster. It would have been so hard to get on his side.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, why do I give a shit about this person having a contest?
I think especially for the time that it's from too, this was aspirational boyfriend. Every girl was in love with him already. And it's like, let's just make him the nice guy who has everything except he's tortured because he's not lucky in love. Like, like that is the way to teen girls' hearts.
Absolutely.
So, they were smart. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they knew. And also, they got to just get the exposition out there, get the story going. Let's, and they, were introduced to, Paul Walker and
I forgot he was in that.
Oh, really?
Paul Walker was. I thought he was just in the Fast and the Furious movies. I rewatched Pleasantville recently. I'm like, oh, he was in that.
He was in that? No way.
He was the one that Reese Witherspoon starts dating.
Jesus Christ.
In the black and white Pleasantville.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's in more than I thought. May he rest. I'm not trying to poke fun, but I mean, like, I didn't realize he was in so many movies of this era. I had no idea.
But he was a great douchebag. I thought
he played it really well.
I was like, man, I want to punch him so hard, and that's a sign of like
a
really good actor. Yeah.
Who would have thought? Because I didn't necessarily know that he was that good, but no, he was good.
Yeah, definitely. And in real life, he was actually a really nice guy. So he had to act. He did his acting. So I think it was one of the things I wrote down first was she got a tattoo. The ex-girlfriend, or the girlfriend that dumped Freddie Prinze Jr. She got a tattoo, and they're like, "Oh my god, she got a tattoo!" It was like the hugest deal, and it's
at the time that would have been because first of all, no one had tattoos. I hope still high schoolers don't have tattoos because you're just too young to make a permanent decision like that. But it's like tattoos have become so normal.
Right.
Like sleeves have become normal.
I think,
like face tattoos and neck tattoos are borderline normal now. So it's funny how much has changed in like 23 years.
Yeah, I think it stuck out to me because that was the first like time capsule.
Yeah.
Capsule-y thing for me in that. And one thing I really did like from the get-go, and I think they did this a couple of times in the movie, but they did that flashback when she's explaining what happened, how she met Matthew Lillard's character. I will say this was probably my favorite part of the movie is when they flashed back, he was actually there as she's explaining it to him.
They did a lot of breaking the fourth wall, but like there's a word
breaking
for this.
Time and space, I actually really liked that.
I think that's why I liked it 4 years ago. In addition to it being just way cheerier than my mom dying, I think that's what I was remembering when I was kind of pumping it up in our little like preview. What do you think this is about clip? Because I do remember like unexpected elements, and I think that was one of them. I was like, oh, this is kind of innovative storytelling. Like this is not completely cookie cutter. So that was like that's like what imprinted on me.
Yeah, you kind of.
I forgot that. Like I ignored the trash plot all around. But yeah, there was just some moments where it was just fun. That was a fun storytelling device.
Right.
Point blank period.
And I wouldn't mind seeing that in more movies, which is
100%.
A weird thing to say.
Because it's a way of showing and telling. There's that rule in writing: show, don't tell. But sometimes it just doesn't make sense to show because it is a flashback. But this was a great way to do both.
Yeah, and it felt I thought they did a great job with that. So I was like, okay, out of the gate. It went downhill after this, but that was really cool though. I really did like that actually.
Yeah.
So we got introduced to Lainey, which is Rachael Leigh Cook. She is so pretty. But I mean, it was also like a little weird for me, like watching it now, because I was like, oh, she must be 16, but she was like a 20,
I think.
20 or something.
Yeah, I looked it up. She was not like an adult. She wasn't like 25, but she could vote.
Yeah.
Maybe not drink, but she could vote.
Yeah. But I was like, oh my god, she looks like a 16-year-old in this, but
she
was a little
20
distracting
to me. But
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same token, I think I have such a distorted idea of like, I don't know. I feel like, here's what it is. I think she didn't look 16 to me because she did look young, but she didn't, like when I see 16-year-olds in the wild, they look 12 to me.
Yeah, okay,
movie casting for legal purposes, because they can have actors stay longer if they're 18 or over, and they don't have to do child labor laws. That's why so many teens are technically 20 or whatever and stuff. So she looked young, but I also don't think she's aged a lot either.
Yeah,
it's kind of like one of those tricks where I'm like, are you 16 or are you 46? I don't know. You look the same. I don't even think she's 46 yet. That was a weird age to pick, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she might be close to 46 actually.
She's in her 40s.
But because I'll get to something later. I think she was. It was interesting her being like an artist and all that, but I didn't get the Chloe Duvall character. Those were the So they Clea, I think Miss Duvall, whatever. I forgot what her first name is.
I love her.
Yeah, I love her too.
She's one of my favorites because she always has a presence.
Yeah.
But I think I know where you're going with this, so finish your thought. I'll add my 2 cents.
I'm like, they were so mean to her. They seemed like they would be her friends for like, I don't know.
Wasn't she mean first though?
No,
because she went up to Rachael Leigh Cook's Janie and like was making fun of.
Oh no, they said that she should kill herself like in the beginning. Yeah. Oh no.
Is that what you were saying?
That's what I was saying.
Oh, I thought you meant. I thought you had it reversed. I thought you had it reversed. That like Rachael Leigh Cook's character was mean first or something.
Oh no, I was just saying like I think
because they're all art
Duvall's
people. You would think they'd be friends.
Yeah, and I felt like they're kind of like a little darker or whatever, and they kind of.
Yeah, it was a choice.
Yeah, and I didn't. That kind of came out of left field, I guess, for me.
The only thing I can kind of justify with it is I think, and they didn't do a good job of executing it. If this is what it was,
right.
But I think they were trying to showcase how lonely high school is in general and how there's mean people in every clique. And maybe that's why Rachael Leigh Cook would be attracted to anyone giving her attention. Yeah. Because like my bully in high school, well, I kind of had some jockey bullies, but mainly was a theater nerd. Like the drama girl was my bully. So like an art bully, not that big of a leap to me. But you're right. Like it was just so unnecessarily mean.
It was weird.
Like what a jump to be like, you should kill yourself.
Yeah. I guess there was a. I guess they had to show that she had some opposition, even in her selected field, which was art. Right. Right. So I guess they had to show that she had some competition, and everything was going well for that girl. But yeah,
they didn't flesh her out much past that though. It was she's only in like 2 scenes, and they're dramatic.
And she's mean as hell. But she does look really mean. She has like
she can turn it on. Resting bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit. And usually, but what I will say, this is why I love her so much as an actress, though, because I've seen her play other mean or like curmudgeon-y characters, but not that note of mean. Like that was extra mean. That was vicious, and she's all that. I'm like, she has range. Because she can play different flavors of not being approachable. I guess would be a good way of putting it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love hers.
Yeah. And so I thought that was interesting. I mean, they're just trying to show Lainey's life.
Yeah.
And she has like a best friend. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's. At first, I thought he was like the gay best friend. But I think he does kind of. No,
he likes girls because he ends up with Anna Paquin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That character is also it's classic rom-com. The side character is not super fleshed out. They're just mostly there to support, the main character. Yeah. And then they end up and think up with some other random character. That was pretty textbook rom-com. I always forget he's in that movie, like, because it is. They didn't even have to have him in the movie. Like, he didn't add much. Like,
I didn't think
it's not a dig at him. It's just
no. I feel especially since Kieran Culkin, who plays the brother, is there. So like I don't know. I think what would have made her seem a little bit more lonely was that her best friend was her young little brother. Right.
No, I agree. I think that's exactly why I'm like, was this character necessary? And I think it's the Kieran Culkin of it all. She already had a lot of males in her life.
Yeah. But I think there needed to be somebody who like cheered her on, so I'm not going to get mad at it.
I guess. I'm not mad at the character either. But can we talk about Kieran Culkin?
Yeah, Kieran
One
Culkin.
of my favorite actors.
He's so
always.
Cute in that age too. Yeah.
What a little thespian! Like my God! Like I just love him. That's all I want to say. I just love him then and now.
Yeah, and just him being so excited that.
Perfect little brother energy.
Right, because I mean, he's just as much of he's such a big fan of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, Zach.
Yeah.
And I feel like, if anything, that energy was the one that smoothed out the awkwardness between Lainey and Zach. In my opinion.
I agree. No, because he was sort of the link, because he wanted to hang out with him so bad, so it forced her to give him a chance.
Right. Yeah. And and it also gives like we get to see like her home life and everything too. So I think that's kind of important to see like the home life going. And I mean, one thing I will say about it, like at least they did show like both like Lainey. Freddie Prinze Jr. was pretty relatively one note.
Yeah.
Lainey was relatively one note, but at least they got fleshed out equally though.
True, they both had families that we met. They both had other stuff going on besides love. Fair enough.
And she worked somewhere.
Like a Greek place or something.
Yes,
and a ridiculous hat.
A falafel hat. Actually, I watched an interview and she actually was like, "Oh, she should have a hat with like falafel."
Oh, that's fun.
And that was actually her edition of it.
That's a good idea.
Turn to my notes. The music transitions are, I think just nonsense. Yeah, the musical transitions were wild. There's also a lot of like ADR.
Was there? Usually I'm really good at picking that up, but I didn't pick it up this time.
It was when they're on the streets, like I think when she was working, but like the outside when the girls, I was like, but it was really bad. It was like relatively bad ADR. And also, Paul Walker's character smoked on campus. Did you notice that?
Oh, I think that went under my radar, but I believe it.
Maybe I'm imagining it, but like I swear he was like smoking.
There was a few things that felt very grown up about the high school, like at the high school scenes to me. Like even the wardrobe, because I'm a fashion girl, right? Like I understand fashion. I've always been into it. And I was younger than this grouping, but I was alive and had memories enough to remember this like time. you did not dress like that to school. Like, the women were wearing dresses that you'd wear to, like, a homecoming dance.
Sure, yeah.
To class.
That was...
And I'm dressy. I'll wear, like, a 70s prom dress on a Tuesday, and I'd wear a nice dress on a Tuesday in high school, too.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was wearing, like, these, like, bodycon baby doll with a little bit of bedazzle. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember that was one of my first notes. I'm like, people didn't dress like they were going to a dance to school in this time period. And then the tattoo, and then if he was smoking. Like, I think a lot of times when it's about a teen movie written by adults, which it always is, they forget what it's like to be a kid.
Yeah.
And they just make it trendy or edgy or whatever. And it's like, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
That's not how this is.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I think maybe certain high schools or something, and
certain, but for 1999, there would have been really tough tobacco law. Like at my high school, you had to smoke. You didn't have to. No, you did. If you wanted to smoke at high school, people would go across the street.
Oh, we were a tobacco-free school.
Exactly. So it's like you had to like literally go across the street in like this area. Like, you could see it from the school, but it was like Kilty Drive, that was the name of it. And like, people would smoke outside some random person's house because that's the quickest way they could get a smoke break. So they had to leave campus, though.
I didn't know anyone in high school had smoked.
Really?
At all, yeah. So it never came up.
Yeah, I knew a lot of most of my close friends weren't, but I had a lot of acquaintances that did,
Like, more people smoked pot than cigarettes, which is funny. And I think that's the same thing now, actually. So, and then, so I guess, so the bet is made. And the bet basically is not, it's not even necessarily, hey, I need this person to fall in love with you. I need you to make this person prom queen. So it's almost
so specific.
That's kind of interesting because that's not necessarily the way that he goes about it. It's not like he's not doing that. He's like, I mean, it ends up happening like a little bit, like slightly over the course of that, but like I don't think he's from the get-go feels like he is like romantically trying to take an interest in her. Like,
that's a good point.
Or maybe,
or he's such a nice guy, he's just going with the flow and you can't tell.
I guess so. I mean, because I guess that could be true too, because so they make the bet, he goes to a show that she is performing at. She's doing like performance art, kind of clowning.
Which was all interpretive art in the 90s like that, because I feel like every movie or television show from that time period, it's like, let's make the worst art possible as comedic relief.
Yeah. I mean, was like
art a thing that really should have been parodied like this in the 90s? Like, I wasn't old enough to be in the art scene, so I don't know.
I feel like maybe. I mean, I feel like there's truth to that. I've gone to shows. I mean, I'll be honest, when I go to clowning shows, I feel like I see similar things, to be honest. So,
but not uncomfortability wise.
Yes, this
was elaborate though. Like,
that was pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, this is on the lower end. This is like, I wish that I wrote the note. I wish they would have. She was an improviser.
Right.
That would have been funny, and he would have had to gone up there and yes-anded everything.
Oh, God.
That would have been weird, but yeah, he goes up there. He does the hacky sack thing, and that ends up getting like a standing ovation from these artsy people. And I'm like, wow, that just kind of shows how like shallow that scene is. Whatever.
I know it was, but like I guess the only reason why it kind of worked was like I think what they were trying to do at least was that they were trying to show that he deep down has all these like pressures and insecurities, and when you're vulnerable in any art, it is communicable.
That's true.
So that's the only reason why I wasn't highly annoyed at the scene and only pretty fucking annoyed.
Right.
I was having that thought process through it. I'm like, this is so bad, this would never happen. But then I was like, oh, maybe there's a little bit of truth to why this worked. Even though I would not give it a standing ovation. Hell no.
But even if I would have seen that, like, from Lainey's point of view, I would have still been like, oh, I was like, that.
Hack.
Like, literally.
Yeah, like, pun intended.
And then they go outside, and he's like, oh, like, you know, your eyes are so beautiful, and pretty much trying to say like, don't wear glasses. I guess is probably what he's going for. But I think it, you know, now that we just had talked about that, I'm like, oh, maybe he was just being nice, and that's kind of just the way he is. Like,
it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because Freddie Prinze Jr. is so adorable anyway. Like, I've never seen him play an actual mean person.
Yeah.
Even when he's cast in those roles, he's still really likable.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. And so it kind of came off more like, like he was attracted to her, but I guess like now thinking about it, but and so this was like, that was like in Hollywood, and so then we later on see them go to the beach, but I'm like, that's such a weird, like, there's one thing to go to like okay, so he knows that she's going to be there at the art show.
Yeah.
And he goes there. Okay, what's she going to do? That's her, like...
She invited him though, right?
Which, I mean, she reluctantly invited him. But I think for her to say, like, yes to the beach, like, I would have still been very skeptical if I was her. Like, just to be honest.
I think she was forced into that too, because of her brother. She didn't want to, like, watch him play Sega all day.
Because he came in and, I don't know, it was a very, that was very strange too, that she was kind of like,
he cleaned her house for her. I don't remember what.
Oh, that was later,
yeah.
But, like, I would have filed a restraining order on him.
That's the thing, that's a conversation we just weren't having in the 90s, where sometimes romantic gestures are creepy AF and borderline, if not actual stalking.
Yeah.
Or harassment.
Because as I always say, like, whenever you hear anybody from the 1950s or whatever, whenever they talk about, how did you meet your wife? Oh, I mean, we were talking about it on Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
I stayed on the elevator extra floors to just be with her longer. Or, like, I went into her store every single day and asked her out until she said yes.
Yep.
And so this kind of...
this is the age of Urkel, you know, where, like, he wore Laura down. That's not talked about enough. It's like, I get it, he's innocuous for the most part, but he harassed that woman throughout her entire adolescence, and eventually she marries him. And it's like, not realistic, boys, not realistic.
Yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Girls, trust your instincts. If you don't like someone, it's okay.
Yes. And it's okay.
But that's the other thing too, because we keep talking about how Zach seemed to like her. I couldn't tell if she liked him or not from the jump either. I couldn't tell, does she really loathe him, or is she being nice and she loves him, or is she secretly interested?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell either. Get that.
Yeah. And I don't think it's the fault of them. I think it's the writing. It's 100% the writing. And because then we get them into the beach. Mm-hmm. Obviously, have to do a body reveal or whatever.
Right. She's in a one piece. The horror.
I know.
Which for that time period, though, skin was in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as we were talking about the spring break.
Right. One pieces were kind of a joke, and now I mostly own one piece bathing suits because they're more fun. And more practical. But I'm old now. But yeah, at that time it was like, let's body shame. Not even body shame, but like wardrobe shame, swimsuit shame.
Yeah, exactly. You're wearing, or like, I remember a big joke back then was like granny panties.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge
that was the equivalent of her bathing suit for sure.
And so like they're at the beach, and then they start, and then Paul Walker and the whole gang comes, and then they play volleyball. Horror, and they're not good. Like they're like, I thought that was kind of funny, because in other movies it's like, okay, I'm gonna play. Oh, actually, like, I'm actually really secretly good at volleyball. But no, Lainey was still very bad.
Right. And the other girls kind of were too, though.
Yeah, they were.
Girls.
Gabrielle Union, who I love. I love Gabrielle Union. but it within the scene, and you know what, the kid that had the party, I forgot what his character's name was, but he was
likable.
He was so likable.
He was really great.
Out of all of them.
Where'd he go? I want him in the movies.
Yeah, and you know, he had one of the best jokes. His dad works at Harrison Ford, and they're like, "Wait, the actor?" He's like, "No, the car dealership." And I was like, I don't know why that like just got
that tickled
me.
You,
that was very funny.
Good. That was a good joke.
And then another thing that came up too was like, whoop whoop, which was a big part of my high school. Do you remember that? Is that only an LA thing or?
No, I think it was a thing. I don't remember it super vividly, but weird chants like woo or woo, yeah, like that was around everywhere. Yeah,
because it was like nonstop at my school for whatever reason.
I don't know if we had a nonstop era in my school. I don't know if I remember that.
It was just you couldn't. Anytime anybody was in a hallway, it was just whoop, whoop. It was nonstop.
No, we didn't have that. I don't think so.
No, it was literally every day, every passing period, everything. So that came back and that haunted me. I think I had nightmares about it that night after we watched this. It brought back these deep memories for sure.
We talk about the Usher of it all.
Oh,
he's just sprinkled in, so I don't know when we're gonna bring him up, but like, I feel like Usher's just in a DJ booth. Like, the high schools have that. We didn't.
If we did, it wasn't somebody from the school who was DJing. But
we didn't have a booth at all. If you wanted to make an announcement, you went to the freaking office, like, and set it over the loudspeaker.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like they just only had Usher for a few days, like schedule-wise, and that's why he's, except for the prom, isolated from the, you know what I mean, like the lot. That was so random, though. I don't think anybody, even if there's like, I've heard of schools having like video morning announcements, which we didn't have either. That makes way more sense to me than a DJ at high school.
Yeah.
Smooth operator talking, like he was saying some naughty things and some of those.
It wouldn't have been a student. It would. Was he a student? Like
he was though, because he was the right age. Because he's roughly Rachael Leigh Cook's age.
Yeah.
And he
very young.
It'd be really creepy if a guy was hired to say some of the stuff he was saying to high school kids.
Well, because he was dishing the drama. He was spilling the tea.
He was saying naughty stuff. Like, I don't know if he was using profane language. I don't think I wrote it down, but he was like making innuendos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about like very public or very private things. He was.
The math teacher was listening to all this.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Like, this was the weirdest plot point to me.
But that's also another thing that I only saw one teacher, the art teacher. Yeah. That was like it. Every other there was like no other teachers happening for whatever reason. I'm like, this fucking homeschool. It's like But I actually really love Usher.
He's
I think
hit or miss for me. I don't like most of his songs, but I like some of his
songs. I think Love in This Club, I think is
that's a good song.
I think that's probably the best pop song of the 2000s for sure. That's a
choice.
No,
that's a
like pop
opinion.
song.
Yeah,
I fucking love that song.
It's a catchy song. I like some of his earlier stuff too. But yeah.
And it was so funny that there were beepers in this. Like, that was another time capsule thing. And, that was great. The more I talk about it, it sounds like I really liked it. I mean, I did
appreciated aspects of it. Yeah.
I liked elements of it, definitely. So, yeah. But, I mean, there were fun, weird things about it. I guess I'm just going over the highlights. Yeah. But, and then they did another flashback, and I really liked that. I wish I would have done, like, 4 of them. 4 or 5 of them or something. The flashback, I don't remember. He had a dream.
Right.
Yeah, there's one point where he had a dream, and, so it wasn't a flashback, it was actually just a dream. But,
They played with reality a lot.
Yeah, they did, which is fine. And then you have the save the cat moment where he Freddie Prinze Jr. character Zach, he defends Kieran Culkin from the bullies.
Oh god.
But also Kieran Culkin, what is he doing? He's putting pepper on people. I mean, it's fun and quirky, but like that is weird. Get this kid some help. This kid needs to go to the school psychiatrist because that's a weird
thing. He's like roller skating or rollerblading. Giving people like fresh ground pepper. I forgot about that.
Which is fun.
It's fun, but not grounded in any. I mean, at the same token though, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
So maybe one of the writers really saw that happen at their high school and they wrote it in. That is sometimes how these moments happen, so who knows? But that whole scene, the retaliation scene, was like, the pubic hair.
Yeah,
that was gross.
Right. It was. As I was watching that, I was like, "Oh, is this a Tom Green sketch?" Which we did talk about afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, this
was
is
also
totally
like ushering in, no pun intended, because Usher has a big role in this, but like ushering in gross out comedy. Like this was around the time of American Pie, which you have not seen.
I have not seen that.
So we're gonna watch it one day. But then it was also like similar movies just got grosser and grosser.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a prude. It's just like bodily hair and food. Bleh, bleh.
Yeah.
Making you eat it. I don't like it.
That
I don't like
really
it. It's not my sense of humor. Never has been.
I almost threw up on that part. That was really that was really gross. But but anyways, like they go to the party. Lainey has that big blow up with the girl who was her bully and painted her face like a clown. I actually thought that looked really cool.
But very out of place.
Oh, very out of place.
In that time period, too, I don't think you would have wanted to look like that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't an eccentric, ironic time, necessarily.
Because I think the big look at that time was cadaverous. Like, everybody's makeup was, like, white. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, lipstick was white. Like, there were a few characters in there that had, like, really
they had like frosted.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Yeah,
frosted.
And they look like they're dead. Personally, in my opinion.
Yeah, the late '90s had some of that for sure.
Yeah.
It was a choice. It was a time. It was not the fashion apex of the world, in my opinion. But or beauty apex.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's why I was like, her makeup actually looked better.
I hated the makeover.
Oh, I didn't like.
I didn't think the short. I'm not mad at short hair on girls, but I didn't think it was a very dated look.
Yeah. Oh.
Like it wasn't. It was time capsule-y. I remember girls getting that haircut, but they were never the pretty aspirational girls. Like I always thought that was like the dumpy haircut. Honestly, I've said it.
Well, now it's like the Karen haircut.
Yeah, I didn't like it then. I don't like it now.
Yeah,
they could have like given her some more layers or something.
I think they could have curled something. But they didn't have to cut. I don't. But you could tell that she was wearing extensions, and that's what the chop was. Yeah, for sure.
Because they weren't blended properly when they were in the scene in Hollywood. I was like, oh, that's extensions. She didn't grow her hair and then cut it. Got it.
Yeah. That makeover. And again, she's so pretty. She is so
The only thing they did was cut her hair, take off the glasses, and she had a little bit of a unibrow. At one point, I did write down, okay, fine, she had a unibrow.
No,
They got rid of that too.
Well, because they said she looked like Ernie from Sesame Street.
Yeah. Bert, I think.
Bert, yes. Sorry.
But like, I noticed it even earlier, like on your big screen. I was like, oh, she has one eyebrow, not two.
Yeah. But honestly, even that.
It's still pretty subtle. They could have gone harder with that. They really could have gone harder with that.
Yeah, they didn't. So I think that whole scene with her. Yeah, and this was what I said in the preview review. I'm like, there's like no way. She is so pretty, and even her after her makeover, I was like,
she really didn't look that different.
Didn't look that different at all. It was like not even. It was like a Clark Kent Superman.
Yeah.
But the thing is that she kept the look, and that's the weird part for me. So she was like, reluctant about wearing contacts at first, remember? And all of a sudden she's like, oh, now that I did this big makeover, I'm going to wear contacts every single day. I don't care.
Yeah, she went back to frumpy art teacher shirt look kind of thing eventually. But
I think when she got like mad,
maybe,
or when the whole bad thing was.
Well, okay, let's talk about prom for a second, because I went to a small public school, 80 kids per grade, so maybe we didn't do things normally. There's courts, like, okay, for homecoming there was people that were nominated. I remember that. For prom though, it was anyone. We didn't campaign. We didn't know. I think anyone could have won. Because I remember my date my senior year told me, I voted for you for prom queen. I'm like, you shouldn't have. Like, I don't want to be prom queen. What the fuck is the queen of the prom? Like, what? Like, what are your royal duties? Like, I've never understood this custom at all. But we didn't do campaigning and posters. And why the hell would she have been nominated after 2 weeks of dating this guy anyway? Like, or whatever. Like, it was just, none of that made sense to me.
This felt it felt like a holdover from the 50s.
Okay.
Like for me.
Okay.
Anyways. But in my high school they did all that.
Oh, they did? Okay, so that is a normal custom.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
For like school presidents too, but more
elections I understand.
But there were people who were like,
because there was homecoming, people were someone, maybe faculty, I don't know, voted for homecoming courts. But there was never campaigning. It was just like they'd get a special photo maybe in the yearbook. I don't know.
I didn't. Well, because we even had like homecoming queen and king, prom king and queen.
Sure, we
but
had
it
that.
just never like.
But it wasn't as big of a deal as the movies make it out to be.
Oh, for sure.
At least from my experience.
But it does capture. There are some things when you're younger that seem so important. And then afterwards, they're not important. So I feel like that's not too much of a leap.
I guess, but if you didn't grow up with that, it does feel like a leap.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm so hung up on it, because I'm like, that did not happen in my school. At all. So I'm like, that's why I'm like, really? Tell me more. Like, that did happen. Okay. Like, because it's a big leap for me. Big.
So, I mean, I definitely got flyers. Oh, yeah. Actually, no, I do remember now. And like the big campaigning season was actually, I do remember during Valentine's Day, because there were kids that would give out like lollipops, vote for so and so. We did have it. Now that I remember,
we did not have that.
But I had a huge school.
I guess it makes sense. You got to campaign because not everyone knows you if you're on the court, but.
Because I mean, we had like thousands of people graduating for our class, so
we had like 300 people in the entire school.
Exactly. So. But the choreography though.
Oh my god, at that Fat Boy Slim really under. Did you have that at your high school? I'm kidding.
Oh, we didn't. We didn't have that. Well, I mean, I guess we had like, not everybody joined in on it, but we did have they were called the West Coveres. They were the Glee Club basically, and they would go and they would dance, and it actually was really cool. Oh no. Okay.
We are back after a lighting difficulty at a different day, hence the different outfits if you're watching this on a visual medium. But we are back and we're going to finish this god-awful movie for you.
Yes. Yeah. Only a few more things.
Because we left off at the prom, which is pretty much the climax. We were talking about just the ridiculousness of campaigning for proms, but let's go to the actual prom for a second, because I think we were kind of wrapped up with that. Zach, he brought his sister to prom. Can we talk about that? Because that's ew. Like, ew.
It is ew.
It's an ick for me.
But for me, I think it's kind of sweet in a way, because I've known people who brought their mom.
To prom.
Yeah.
What?
There was because I think it was like a single mother. Like I know that has happened, or something like. Or like
so
brought her. I mean, not as their date, but like because when he brought her, I don't think it was necessarily as his date.
He gave her a corsage or something.
Oh my God,
and they like walked arm in arm out. I know he wasn't gonna bang his sister. I'm not trying to make it like worse than it is.
Sure.
But it still. I don't know. I know it was supposed to be sweet, but at the end of the day, prom is known, not that everyone bangs at prom, but prom is like a sex event.
I never thought about it like that.
I didn't either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really didn't, but that's what these teen movies promote.
Sure.
So for him to pull a fast one and bring his little, like, underage 14, 15, 16-year-old sister, it's kind of unclear how old she really is. Ugh.
No, I get it. I understand. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's dumb and lame. You should have had numerous backups, right? You would think. But
I think so.
Huh?
Yeah, you would think so. He's the big man on campus. Right? He has his own like parking spot reserved.
Yeah. So yeah, that is really weird. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But it's a weird thing. It is a weird thing. But also, just, you know, I think they were. I think what they were going for was like, oh, he's nice to his sister, and like a lot of people aren't nice to their sisters.
True.
Guess, you know?
But what's funny is we kind of talked about this, where it's like he's kind of one note in terms of character arc. It's not like he was the dick that was mean to his sister. So it wasn't like that payoff. Like maybe if they played up what a monster he used to be, and Rachael Leigh Cook, the love of a good woman, if you will, which I'm kind of tired of that trope, but made him a better man. And then he was nice to his sister. It'd still give me the icks, but I at least understand why they made that creative choice.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, I'm starting to really think that it's not that good of a movie.
No, that's... What?
That's towards the end. What? I didn't realize until, like, towards the end. I was like, maybe this isn't good. Because there's another thing that we're going to talk about, the choreography also.
Who has, like, the Fat Boy Slim did not have, like, a Macarena style.
Yeah, no.
Everyone knows the moves to this dance, you know, and it was, like, literally most of the prom.
I know. Could you imagine? You're just hanging out and all of a sudden, hey, clear the dance floor because these, I don't know, 12 people
professional dancer ringers.
Yeah, like we're just going to have them come in. Yeah, that's so strange. I feel unnecessary unless it was, You
know, there's like Uncanny Valley where it's like when people see someone that's humanoid but not really a human and we get creeped out. I get creeped out at like moments that would never be organic. Yeah. There needs to be a word for that. It's the uncanny valley of situations. Yeah. Where it's like, this is supposed to be visually cool, but this is terrible. Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah. It also gives me the icks. And there's another Freddie Prinze Jr. movie where there's a spontaneous dance-off or something like that. It's called Boys and Girls, I think.
Never heard of that.
It's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. It's really ridiculous, but more sweet and like better character development than this piece of garbage movie. So I actually like it a little better, even though it's not that good either. And yeah, he's involved in a group dance at a club or something. And I was like, this movie was almost believable until that scene. Right. So
the only time I've choreographed a song at karaoke. I've done that before. Sure. Yeah. But
that's different though to me because that's performing. You know. Yeah. And there's flash mobs, but this was before flash mobs was really a thing.
Or flash mobs. I was always so afraid that was. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Every time there's like a wedding, and they're like, "We're gonna do a flash mob." I'm like, "Oh well, my drink's over there. Bye." It's can't go.
It's so uncomfortable. It's the most cringe-inducing thing I've ever seen. I'm glad that is left in the past. I'm glad that's the one thing that COVID. I haven't seen it.
There was a flash mob on TikTok for this singer that wrote about Victoria's Secret being bad.
Oh, okay.
And she did a flash mob. It looked like at the Grove. And if I was walking by the Grove and a bunch of people were dancing to a song about Victoria's Secret, like good for her, it's a good message, but I would have walked so fast the other way.
Yeah. It's so there's just too many. Don't if you're not ready for a performance, just don't. I think it's jaded me just being in Los Angeles because I've been around people and it's happened or whatever. But,
like flash mobs? Like,
I mean, I've done it before. Actually, I've done it before. Well, no,
accidentally. Closet flash mobber.
No, well, I remember when I was in college, me and my friends, we went to City Walk And one of my friends didn't, we were poor college students, so my friend started he just started doing almost clowning, and he was putting his hat out and to get money. And then Nelly Furtado's I'm like a bird, or I'm like a bird.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and we just all started spontaneously dancing and just kind of having a leader and just kind of going with it, and we people thought we were part of the thing.
Well, that's funny because that's more trolling and just trying to get money.
Trolling,
so I can support that.
I know all
I'm a
these
great girl.
people were delighted, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But you know what, City Walk, I think that's a place. It's and you can walk away, I guess.
They probably thought you worked for Universal. They probably thought it was but at weddings, at birthdays, at proms, not a fan.
Yeah.
And then of course we also have to talk about Paul Walker.
Yeah.
His character. I forget that douchebag's name, but he's bragging so much about taking Lainey to a hotel room that I had to stop and think, is this guy a virgin? Because he's so over the top and extra, the lady doth protest too much. And it's why is he bragging in the men's room so much about this key, this is the room number key, I'm going to take Lainey. It was just
I don't see that as a selling point either. Hey, I have a hotel room. Oh, immediate red flag. And she's obviously smart enough to know that because there was a joke about it, or real funny joke, almost rape, where she had the air horn, and it deafened him.
Yes, that's right.
Leading us to the graduation. But attempted rape, cool. And
because he made an advance at her. That's why she rang the air horn, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. But it's not
not good.
Yeah, not good. Not a good time.
I don't know. Jocks are jerks. I stand by that statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also think nerds are jerks though too.
Oh, I agree with that wholeheartedly as well. Most people are jerks.
Most people are jerks. People are bad.
Yeah, people are bad.
If you're gonna learn anything from this podcast,
you're welcome. You hate life now because of us.
Yeah.
Wink. And then the only other thing, to wrap us up, two things. Tim Matheson is in it. Such a small role, but I know him from a very Brady sequel and Heart of Dixie, which is kind of a bad CW show, but I like it anyway. I just think he was great, and he was also in the Battle of the Network Stars. I didn't realize he was a television star in the 70s.
Yeah.
We keep talking about the early days, the pre-challenge, if you will.
The pre-challenge,
the Battle of the Network Stars in the 70s, where they went kayaking and all this other stuff.
And he was great, yeah.
He's a great actor.
Yeah,
I love him.
I love him too, because he pops up just kind of everywhere, which I'm fine with. Every time I do see him, I'm like, there you go.
Yeah, because he gets the job done. Big role, small role, jerk role, nice role. He has a presence.
Oh, for sure.
He's hard to get mad at.
Yeah.
Even if he's playing a jerk, which he often does, actually.
Yeah, he does. He does. But I think he definitely the guy who plays Shooter. Oh man, something McDonald. He was in Lucky Gilmore, or I don't know, Happy Gilmore or whatever that movie was, but he played the asshole.
Oh,
where was the hockey player? No, but there's another actor that I always mix him up with. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to remember his name. We'll cut this up. Cut it. I think it was a great addition, and also Kevin Pollak playing Lainey's dad. I thought that was a great casting too.
He played the right combo of sweet but completely clueless.
Just an idiot, yeah.
So checked out, but he cares.
Yeah.
It was a good,
Yeah.
Good
dads.
casting.
Good dads, Yeah.
What do you think about the last scene? Do you really think that Zach would have been allowed to be naked at his graduation without getting arrested? He's 18. He could have been on a sex offender list.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. And also I was surprised that he was sitting naked. I mean, I would have called, there's teachers there.
Yeah. Did he strip after they walked in to pomp and circumstance? Or did he walk in that way? Because it's
that would have.
It seemed like a big shocking reveal when he got up to get his diploma. So I'm assuming he walked in with cap and gown.
Right.
And dropped cap or gown, whatever, and
because
offended everyone.
Right. And going back to your story last week about the Foo Fighters concert you went to with the woman.
Right.
Like at a concert, that's still in the darkness. It's still shocking that, a woman, to recap, a woman didn't have pants on during the show.
Lady drop trow.
And so in that, it became like a huge hubbub. In this, in broad daylight, holy smokes.
Like, it's probably a noon ceremony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 10 a.m. even. Like,
It's that's because I've seen it where people stripped off, like, as they're getting their diploma. Like, I've seen that happen before.
But they're wearing stuff underneath it.
I mean, like underwear or whatever. Oh. Yeah. But they usually...
You've lived more than me. That's what I'm doing.
My friend Captain Knutson did it.
That's a name. That's the name of your friend.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In high school, he did that. Amazing. And he was supposed to go into the army, and he got in trouble, though. And I don't think he was able to go in after all because of that. So don't do it. If you're watching
your brain is not fully developed till 26 years old. Do
Yeah.
not make dumb decisions, especially after you're 18 and can be tried as an adult.
Yes. He's a year older than me, but I remember, that happening. Captain Knudsen. But anyways, don't do it. Also, bonus, I watched He's All That, which is the sequel.
Brave soul.
I know. It stars Taylor Buchanan and she's like a popular TikTok star, something Ray. It was very similar to
I bet.
She's All That. There's a lot of updates. Definitely not as problematic, but also just more bland than this for sure.
Yeah.
It's gender swapped, and Tanner Buchanan, he's from Cobra Kai. He's like pretty big right now. He plays the guy, and basically his makeover is just taking off a beanie and like getting a haircut. But they didn't even cut his hair that much.
It's not like he had long hair and they made it like short.
No, it was like this, and then they cut it to it wasn't.
Which is so dumb because so many girls love long hair. I'm one of them, so like
I don't know. So
not necessarily an upgrade. Sometimes it's an upgrade.
Yeah, and there's definitely like a social media element to it. But it was like it was the same exact story, just gender swap. So you
saw the ending coming.
Yeah, so it had pretty much relatively the same ending, same like best friend that he has. It was just pretty perfectly gender swapped. It could have been the same exact script, to be honest. But
it was. They just probably took out the problematic or like the real world stuff or the stuff that was timely for that time, and we're like, let's just reverse the genders.
Yeah, and but it actually had a better ending though. So the ending on this one was in the story he's like a photographer, and then she, the one who tries to pull him out, she's big on social media. So they start, like after high school, they just start traveling together.
They probably got a van and did van life stuff.
Oh, I think they ended up in Barcelona or something, but it probably was they probably ended up breaking up at a certain point because that's a lot of stress.
They're 18.
Yeah, and that's a lot of stress to put on each other. So, I saw that. I braved that. I just put it on in the background, doing laundry. But
you already know the plot. You don't really have to watch it that intently, I suppose. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's hilarious. You're a brave soul. Thank you for your service because I don't feel a need to watch it now.
I did pass away, but
You're a ghost now.
But I'm a ghost now, and it's fine. Yeah.
That's fine. I can be friends with ghosts. I don't discriminate. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think that wraps it up. We kind of give it 2 to 3 thumbs down. I feel like it's not as hard as an Avatar. All 4 thumbs down. I want to be mindful of our bar being so low.
I think that is the thing. Is like I've delved. It wasn't egregiously bad. It wasn't like
it was fun at
aggressively
some moments,
bad.
and funny for the wrong reasons at moments. Yeah. So it's hard to be too mad at that.
Right, but it was just not. It wasn't horribly funny. It didn't. No. I got like maybe 2 or 3 chuckles out of it, and that's fine. It's made for teenagers. That's the one thing that I do understand about like a lot of these movies, like in rom-coms.
That's true.
I know that they're not necessarily my thing, but I also know that it is for a certain type of person, and I totally get it. And if you're watching it at a certain time in your life, I think, yeah.
But you know what, though? As a writer, I love the idea of challenging what the rom-com formula is, though. Because there are a lot of comedic things that can happen in romances, whether you get a happy ending or not. And there's more ways you can texture and layer it. Like rom-coms don't really exist anymore. Maybe on streaming, but not with like big box office starring Julia Roberts or like any teen version, you know? Like I think even with He's All That, most people didn't even know that was a thing for the most part, you know? It was kind of talked about.
Came out last year, so I didn't hear anything about it.
Rom-coms are just not as successful, but I think it's because people are sick of the formula. So it's like, I like the idea of trying to bend the genre.
Yeah.
Because you can still be smart in a romantic comedy. I don't think that has to be mutually exclusive.
Right. And I think a lot of my favorite movies do have romance
to it. Yeah. Because that's a very human thing.
Yeah.
So.
Right. So it was, I didn't like it, of course, but I wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was cringy, but I expected that from something that's about 20 years old and that is from an era that I personally do not care for. So
yeah, it was pretty chaotic and psychotic, that era. But yeah, no, same. I thought I liked it more than I did. I stand corrected. But I will say that the reason why I'm hesitant to put like a full 2 thumbs down, from me at least, is the actors. I mean, say what you will about Freddie Prinze Jr. We've already fawned over him, but like he's pretty great. And Kieran Culkin is like one of my favorite actors, even when he's a child. Like he is a thespian, and all the other people we've talked about too. It's just like, it's a pretty well done acted movie. The script just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I guess that's all we have to say about that. Next week we're going to be watching Ghostbusters because it's going to be October. So we thought that would be
ease us in.
Yep. I haven't seen it, so
I know. I'm so excited for you to see it. So
yeah.
Catch that next week.
So follow us on all social media. Well, actually just TikTok. And let's finally watch it, and YouTube and everywhere podcasts are found.
Yes, exactly.
I'm Lauren Blair Donovan.
I'm Clark Knez.
Blairosaurus Rex. Other Clarksy. Social media. If we're watching online, like where there's visual stuff, I'll put up all the stuff. So
yeah, you'll see it.
Come stalk us. Stalk away.
Do it.
Bye.
Bye.